What's up, everybody? Yes, I'm back, man. You guys already know what time it is with this cat right here. I don't talk about it, I stay about it. But, anyways, today I'm gonna have to elaborate just a little bit on a topic. If you guys are familiar with Mr. Homie Hangout, he interviewed an individual that went by the name of Two Scoops. I didn't really want to touch on this subject. I've been really reserved on it because it's at the end of the day, it's none of my business. You know what I mean? Supposedly he pulled covers on people and stuff. I have my opinion about that. And obviously everybody here on social media is very opinionated. But before I go and do that, the day before yesterday, I spoke a little bit about insulin. Today I'm going to speak a little bit about insulin resistance. And as always, I got to give a shout out to my channel members, my subscribers, my followers, and everybody that's been interacting here on my channel. I really appreciate every last one of you guys. Even the trollos, baby. The trollos, got to give them their little shine, you know what I mean? But I'm telling you right now, man, if you really want to live that life, there's plenty of bed space behind them walls. They're accepting applications on a daily. I could guarantee that's one thing that hasn't changed from when I was doing time to this present day. So be mashika, baby. Do your thing. You feel me? Well, anyways, people, once again, man, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Put the notification bell on all. When you do hit that subscribe button, make sure you go to that notification bell and switch it from personalized to all. That way you could get notified with all the material that I be putting out here on social media. If you guys want to get started on your fitness journey, you can shoot me a DM because I am a full-time online fitness coach. And this channel right here is about fitness. It just ends with a twist because I still get these daily characters that come on here and say, all he did was talk about fitness for 1 minute, get whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Well, if you read the title, it's not clickbait, people. It really isn't, because I'll put in quotations, in parentheses, I should say, what I'm addressing today. And today is going to be insulin resistance. And then I'll put the title of the story or the individual that I'm going to be elaborating on. So the clickbait's out the door, people. You can no longer use that. Mr. Trollo and all you other characters. It's just for the birds, man. But like I said, at the end of the day, I find this stuff humorous. So anyways, I did enough babbling. If you want to get started in your fitness journey, shoot me a DM or email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. There ain't nothing to it but to do it. You can't talk about it. You just got to be about it. So with that being said, insulin resistance. I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of what insulin resistant is, okay? Insulin resistant is where cells in the body don't respond normally to insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps glucose get from your blood into your cells for energy, people. When you have insulin resistance, your cells don't take in glucose as well as they should, okay? Which can then lead to higher sugar levels. Insulin resistance is often a precursor, people. It's often a precursor to type 2 diabetes. Now, with that being said, yes, I know I touched short and briefly on it. That's what I do. I have value to the knowledge that I've obtained. So for those of you that are claiming you could get all this stuff from the social media or internet, you can. But you have to do the research. I've already obtained the knowledge. I read this stuff on a daily. It doesn't matter where I get my information from. I fill my head with knowledge and I do my research, And most of the stuff that I touch on when it comes to nutritional health, overall health, it's because it touches home. It hits a place in my heart. That's why I touch on it. It's not just something that I'm reaching out of the air, unless one of my subscribers want me to, then, I'll elaborate on that stuff. But other than that, man, you guys that are trying to knock me down, you could keep on knocking, baby. This house is made of brick, baby. You're just wasting your time, It is what it is, you know what I mean? Go find yourself your own audience and build you your own channel, you know what I mean? Anyways, people, now with that being said, Put your ego and pride to the side and sign up with me so I can coach you through improving your health, people. You could DM me at High Power Fitness. That is my Instagram, high_power_fitness_. Or you could email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. It's very simple, people. I have a blueprint to success. It's worked for me. It's gotten me results. This is my lifestyle. This is my passion to help others succeed in their fitness journey. I can get you where you need to be at in a shorter time. If you want to do the research and go through the ground and pound that I went through, because this isn't something I just learned overnight, people. I've put in the work, man. It's been a mission. You know what I mean? Especially when you live the life that I've lived. A lot of my knowledge that I've obtained came when I was doing time behind them walls, because I was always trying to look at bettering my overall condition, my health, because all I've ever done out here in this real world was bring damage to my health and bring damage to my family, you know what I mean, and raise concerns about me. So I'm not doing that stuff no more. I'm on top of my A game. I show up on a daily, day in, day out. I don't talk about it. I be about it. And for those of you that are interested in my program, keep in mind, summer's around the corner. I will hook you up with the summer deal. You know what I mean? There's an individual that just reached out to me about asking for macros. Hey, I will get to you after this video, and yeah, we could do something for that, G. You know what I mean? I will work with you, whatever what's in your budget, man. I'm not gonna try to break you. You know what I'm saying? I'm really passionate about helping people change their lives. Obviously, I have a set standard that I do have to charge for my program, and the reason is because I pay for my program. My program was paid for to be built, to be put together in a digital format for me. Obviously, I'm not a computer tech, because if I were a computer tech, I would probably not be doing this. But I would probably still do it on the side, because like I said, it's my passion to help people change their lives and better their lives. I love when I'm able to help someone break their limited beliefs. And the reason is because I'm living proof in itself. You know what I mean? I'm not going to toot my own horn or anything like that. But, I never once believed in my life I would ever own a house of my own. I thought I would always be a renter, living in real trailer courts, not these trailer courts that people claim they're trailer courts, because they're not trailer courts. Those are mobile homes, mobile home estate parks. I grew up where you got your hand shook, your money took, and everything else that came along with that package. For those of you that know, the trailer courts in my hood, they've gotten better. You know what I mean? There's still a couple out there that are crazy. What's that name of that one cat? Ash, the one right there from Mountain View. It's off the hook. You can pay by the daily right there. For those of you that are looking for a spot, daily rates right there. Real shit. There's so much I could say about that trailer court, man. But it's crazy. You guys, for those of you that live there and went there, you guys know what I'm talking about. The owners, man, they're crazy. How they usually take people on that Vegas run. It's something that right there is an inside scoop for the people that live there in them trailer courts. But yeah. Anyways, people, yeah, I did ramble on, and that's what this individual does, man. I ramble on a lot. That's just what I enjoy doing, or maybe it's just because I don't pay attention to it. You know what I mean? Because I ain't really in a hurry to get anywhere anytime soon. Now, with that being said, man, once again, hit the like and subscribe button, put your notification bell and all. Let's get this channel to 10,000 subscribers. That way we can start doing lives. And shoot me a DM or email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. We'll get you started on becoming that best version of yourself. Like I said, I will work with you. You know what I mean? Summer's right around the corner, so I'll give you guys a summer deal. Anybody that reaches out to me today, within this week, we'll get broken off with a summer deal, a deal that you can't pass. You know what I mean? Now, with that being said, Mr. Homie Hangout, man, hey, much love and respect to that individual. He comes from a way different faction that I come from. And that man has always presented himself as being non-biased and with the utmost respect to everybody. He never sugarcoats anything. He has his beliefs, and a lot of his beliefs I believe in. You know what I mean? it's just coming where I come from. Sometimes we have to be really reserved on what we say because, people like to hold shit against you. Even though there's really no merit out here in the streets, because the stuff that they're trying to hold against you really doesn't pertain to out here. It only pertains to behind them walls. And like I've said in the past, and I'm going to tell you guys today, I'm retired. I've hung my Nike Cortez up over that telephone pole on little 5 points on the wires. It's just a figure of speech, people, because that is actually, I grew up in a different part of my barrio on Rush and on Rosemead Boulevard. And back in the day, trust and believe, that place was off the hook. There were so many different things going on at that time. If you guys are familiar from my time, it was called the Terry Courts. The Terry Courts were woo-wee, wasn't a place to be in. Shootouts every night. But anyways, people, yes, I did ramble on. And back to Homie Hangout, he had an individual by the name of Two Scoops. Two Scoops is allegedly a part of a faction that I really don't know of anything about. I'm very familiar, and like I said, I don't speak on stuff that really, from what I'm understanding, that shouldn't be mentioned here, but this individual claims to be part of that, so that's on him. First and foremost, I'm going to tell you one thing. What I do disagree upon, what that individual did do, is by speaking on somebody from a whole different umbrella. You know what I mean? Now you got to keep an open mind about this, people. The person that he was speaking on was Mr. Dubs. Okay, Mr. Dubs, whatever he did as far as paroling wise, only he knows. You can't put a jacket on an individual, especially if you weren't doing time with them. And even the ones that may have crossed paths with them, such as that individual right there, you don't really know the whole story behind why he said what he said. Because they may have been in aligned at one time with one another doing certain things behind them walls, and there might have been a conflict of interest. So now this individual that has from my understanding, 3 life sentences is trying to, this is his way of getting back at a certain individual. Now, keep in mind, I'm being open-minded about this. I'm being non-biased or anything, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's none of my motherfucking business, really. And that's real talk, Times have changed, and I'm going to give you an example just real quick on these Mexica warriors that are out here. And I'm going to give you an example with that individual as well, because I heard him also say that too, that he would never, because they use this word debrief. I know back in the day, in order to debrief, you had to have been part of something, okay? And an individual, if his health and safety was at risk or jeopardized, and an individual wasn't about that debriefing, they would just keep them slammed down. Because could you imagine the lawsuit they would get? An individual that was, in the shoe and then decides to cut out the reindeer games, he could go out Mexica and, do what he has to do. And, there's, like I said, there's very few that would do that. There's many that say that they would do it, but you can't say that unless you're put into that predicament. You know what I mean? And I'm just keeping it real and 100%. I'm one of them individuals that would believe that I would have to go all the way with it. That's the way I believe. I've never been put in that position, and I'm not about to put myself in that position. So I'm just giving my honest opinion on the way I would act. But being under circumstances of being actually under fire, under war during, something of that situation may change the whole narrative. You just never know. And I'm keeping it real and 100. And like I said, I don't sugarcoat shit for anybody. And as far as this individual actually speaking on another faction, he's pretty much in the wrong by doing that. You know what I mean? And the brothers, a lot of the brothers, they be getting certain... brothers run their program differently. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong way. That's their way. Who are we or anyone else to intervene the way they run their program? You know what I mean? And this is to bring me to the example of what I wanted to give, and I just rambled on and sidetracked a little bit. The individual, Two Scoops, he's got a three life sentences. Okay, he said, yeah, I would never debrief, get whoop-de-whoop to go on or whatever he said. I would never be sent to one of those yards. Now, for those of you that are trying to play them real warriors out there, like I said, there's plenty of bed space for anybody. You could go and interact on them integrated yards, I have no idea how they run those, but from what I'm gathering and from my understanding, it's like they house everybody there together. It's like being in a community. Okay, it's like being in a community out here in the real world. Say if you're living in some tract homes, a gated community, you don't know who's who in there. Now, if you want to be that person and start doing an investigation like the Neighborhood Watch, do your thing, because there's plenty of people down there that are pieces of shit. Now, there's a lot of SNYs on there that are not pieces of shit. They're okay. Coming from where I come from, yes, you're labeled no good, but POS has a different definition than being no good. They fell out of good standings with their people. They've been put on in the hat, so their best move was to move, I guess. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like I said, you're over there living with them. And if you want to be that fucking true righteous Mexica warrior, hey, handle your business. Go to that integrated yard and start blasting everybody and anybody that's over there. Why? Because coming from the time that I've done time, no matter what you rolled it up for, you're no good. Okay? Now you got to keep into consideration, when I did time back in the day, those SMYs were the people that had very bad jackets. Now, from my understanding, they got different labels and different titles for different yards, and I'm not up to date on all this stuff, and I don't really give a shit to be up to date on all this stuff. But I'm just going by the information that was gathered to me on this, because it's constantly changing, and there's exceptions to the rules. That's why I say I'm old school. I'm instilled with old morals and beliefs, and I'm gonna stay that way. So I don't want no part of that life in there no more. You know what I mean? That's why I'm out here pushing the good vibe. But anyways, yes, I did ramble on a lot. And first and foremost, from my understanding, coming from my background, anybody on here, basically, that is on here on social media doing this net banging, that's a form of dry snitching on yourself. You know what I mean? That's like saying, hey, come rescue me. That way I don't have to go on this mission. Because the real ones on here, the ones that are really getting active on this motherfucking YouTube yarda, they wouldn't be speaking. They would just moving in silence. They would be walking in the shadows, and they would do their thing. They're not going to promote it. You know how many people are viewing these social medias? From law enforcement to everybody. You know what I mean? The shit gets real here on the YouTube yarda. So these people that are trying to be mexicas and leaving comments, crazy comments, this and that, that's just a straight form of dry snitching. Because an individual that's really righteous about it ain't going to say nothing. That's a stealth bomber, baby. You know what I mean? Back in our days, my days, when someone moved over there to the SNY, we called them torpedoes. You know what I mean? And that's something I probably shouldn't even put out here. And the only reason why I'm going to say that is because that was a sleeper. That individual was sent over, and he went and handled his business. He came right back. So at the end of the day, man, I would rather not to get involved with any of this bullshit that goes on here with the social media. Yes, I do participate to the slightest, but I do a lot of it with humor. You know what I mean? And people, they constantly, they've asked, trust me, they asked me to elaborate on this topic a long time ago, but I didn't, you know what I mean? Because I really didn't want to. I was really reserved on it, but at the end of the day, that individual that was speaking on, generally he was speaking on anybody and everybody that paroled is considered no good. You know what I mean? Because they had to do a movement of going through debriefing. Now, that's just coming from one individual's perspective. Keep in mind, in prison, everybody thinks they know everything. Okay? Everybody's a fucking lawyer in there, but yet they're doing all day or doing stretches. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real and 100. You know what I mean? There's always going to be a person that wants to spin their beliefs into existence. And if they have a strong voice, they have their minions. So they're obviously going to reach people, but this is just right here, man, just a quick reminder to you people that are living out here in the real world. You don't want to get caught up in that life, because at the end of the day, ain't nobody for you in there. Everybody is for themselves in there. Yeah, you may fall under a certain umbrella, and there's rules, reglas. That's just so you could live, so you could be of existence in there. And I'm keeping it real and 100% with you. Now, if you want to participate in the reindeer games, they're always accepting applications. I'm telling you now. You know, back when I was going through time, doing my time, you didn't have the obligations that people do nowadays. You know. Well, anyways, man, I think this fucking video went on way too long. With that being said, thumbs up, thumbs down, whichever you prefer. Put your notification bell on all. If you want to get started in your fitness journey, shoot me a DM or email me at highpowerfitness@yahoo.com. Now get up and get yours, baby.